Hello, Deck.
Hello, George. Well, that was a hearty welcome. How are you?
I am doing very, very well. I've got a little bit. Woke up with a little bit of a losing of the voice box, which ain't great when you're trying to become a podcaster. You know, trying to take over the world, but he's on podcasts. But nevertheless, I do not show no weakness, Deck. I just bring it up from time to time.
Just talk about it
all the time. Yeah, I want to thank sponsors, continuing sponsors, sponsor us. Coin Poker, thank you very much, Mr. Coin Poker. Yep, doing wonderful things. Deck,
big up Coin Poker.
While I'm there, and they don't deserve it. You know, don't give away the free advertising. But I opened that AG1 box that came, right? It was a massive box.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was like 3, 4, 5 people. I thought I was going to be able to sort out the whole family and there'd be a little bit left over for you in the corner. It was it was like a one batch thing. But they just, I swear, it looked like one of them giant...
Yeah, I've seen the boxes.
Oh, right, you've seen it, yeah.
Great.
So sorry about that, mate.
Yeah. Shout out AG1 though. Like, send us some more and let's get serious. Let's have a serious conversation, shall we? AG1.
Well,
see you. Your Greens company.
Right, yeah. We're talking of serious conversations, right?
Go on.
We've had a bit of boxing at the weekend. We've got a bit of boxing coming up this weekend. Deck, I'm working this weekend, and
I know you,
but I'm working
proper work.
Like, this hat, that hat, and we'll get into that later on.
Oh, hold on, yeah, because we'll talk about that later. But you're doing, obviously, you have a fighter on the card. Lucas is boxing at Wembley. Yes. You doing comms as well? You doing an Andy Lee? Fucking hell, double bubble growth.
Yeah, I'm following your suit, mate. It's like you,
just everything going.
Yeah, I've seen what you like on Fight Night. You're writing up the fights.
You better drink that that AG1 then this week to get yourself in the correct gut microbiome. I've always got no chance. Speaking of gut. Fucking hell, that is a bad cough. Do you know what would help you, George?
What would help me?
You know it's soup season. This sounds like the start of an advert. Listeners, this is not an advert. It's soup season, isn't it? Very much so. We're in the depths of it. I bought a soup maker. Right? You ever heard of a soup maker?
No.
Because I hadn't, and it was middle aisle of Aldi.
You've been done, mate.
Of course.
You've been done.
Middle aisle of Aldi, which I am the sucker. Anything they're selling in that. It was like 30 quid or whatever.
Yep.
Looks like a sort of big kettle kind of vibe.
Yep. Pot noodle time, yeah.
You put anything you want in it, right?
Water.
I mean, within reason, like vegetables or whatever. Yeah. Press go. You can either have it smooth or chunky, and it does the blending for you.
Smooth or James DeGale, yep.
Or James DeGale. Or you get a James DeGale soup in like 25 minutes, mate. It's unbelievable, right? Yep. And obviously, I don't know if you remember the 30 plants thing last year. Remember I was doing 30 plants a week?
Yeah.
I got up to 40 plants last week thanks to this soup maker. And just a little question I had for you and for the listeners. Turns out a couple of boys in the group chat, they have toast with soup. That would never have bread with soup, would have toast with soup.
Yeah.
And for me, that is balmy. That is mental. It's got to be bread.
I can see the logic, because obviously you want to
toast.
No, but a stiff bit of bread, you can dip it in and it can hold its integrity. Do you know what I mean?
Bit more integrity, yeah.
Whereas, like, obviously you're putting bread in, you're hoping that it'll absorb your soup, I'd imagine. You want now you want soupy bread rather than piling. If you've gone for a James DeGale soup, I'd rather spoon it onto the toast. And I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there was a debate once in the McGuigan gym, and I'm going back to more harmonious times maybe, and Carl Frampton was in there, and he said that he loved to have...
Fuck me, that was a long time ago.
Like, he said he liked to have butter, but how does he say butter? I'm not going to do the impression. Butter on the toast.
Butter.
And he says with a bit of salt on it, right? And then a couple of the lads went, "Oh, what are you doing, a savage?" And then when you think about it, I was like, so I it came round to me, and I took I think I might have been quite new at the gym, so I didn't want to make jump on any bandwagons or anything. So I sort of leant back and I went, how often, Deck, do you go to a posh restaurant, right? And then they serve you up a bit of bread and it comes with butter, but then you've got that rock salt at the side.
Yeah.
Salty toast, like buttery salt toast. Exactly.
And also you get that posh butter, the bougie one, that has like the crystals of salt in it as well, which is already salted butter. So I think he's on something. So maybe salted butter on toast with my 40 plant soup is the way to go. That would sort out that fucking bronchitis, whatever.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
Okay, good. All right, well, let's crack on because there's shitloads to get through, which stretches back to last Friday, which seems like a long time ago now. But that was when Nouya Inoue won again, obviously. in the early, well, it was like mid-morning on a Friday, which was a treat. This was supposed to be Christmas Eve. Then it got moved to something else.
They moved Christmas.
They moved Christmas for Inoue. It was supposed to be Sam Goodman as well. He got cut, so then they moved it. Then he got cut again, so then they got this stand-in, Yi Jun Kim, which was like, he's just nowhere near Inoue's class, obviously. Yep. Inoue sort of strolled about for 3 rounds. Then Kim started throwing, so Inoue was like, no, I'm not having this, so then knocked him out. I don't know if you saw the clip where Kim's like beckoning.
Show it to us now for the YouTube listeners. How did he do it? Okay. I'll be Inoue, you be. So
Inoue's got him on the ropes in one corner. Yep. He sort of evades it. Actually, gets hit pretty hard, and then he comes away from the ropes and he goes like this. Now I think it was with his right hand, like goes like this to Inoue.
So like, like Bruce Lee
beckons him in, and Inoue's like, "Are you sure, mate?" Yeah, he goes like that. Inoue just 1, 2, like down the pipe, textbook, hard as fuck, and the guy's out. Obviously, Inoue moved, just like that. Inoue moves to 29-0 with 26 KOs. He is obviously undisputed super bantamweight champion. That was his 6th straight undisputed world title fight. I think he's been in world title fights for like his last 18 or maybe more. Potentially or arguably the number 1 pound for pound fighter on the world, unless your name is Eddie Hearn, George. I don't know if you saw this interview that he did with IFL TV.
Yep.
Where he said that Inoue is ducking Murodjon Akhmadaliev or Akhmadaliev. Yep. Ducking him. He should be removed from the pound for pound rankings. He's disappointing as a champion, and his resume is quote unquote shit.
Wow.
Did you see these quotes, and do you agree with Eddie Hearn?
No, Eddie Hearn, he's not silly, is he?
Well, I think he's going for the idea that Inoue, basically the perceived wisdom these days is it's Inoue, it's Usyk, or it's Crawford at the moment at the top of the pound for pounders. You can't really argue. Would you argue with that? It's one from 3. What do you think?
Say that again, Dak.
Inoue, Crawford, or Usyk, and you can make an argument for either of or any of those 3 as your number 1.
Yeah. Who?
But not only is Eddie Hearn saying, well, he's definitely not 1, he's saying, well, he shouldn't even be in the list.
Yeah. What's the list? Is it a list of 10, a list of 20? Inoue's actually pound for pound number 1 on BoxRec.
Yeah.
He beats Canelo Alvarez, Gervonta Davis, Crawford, Beterbiev. So
there's no Usyk in there. So BoxRec do it by point system. I'm not sure exactly, but I always think take them ones with a pinch of salt. But that being said, George, the reason Hearn is doing this, and he is a good old troll, Eddie Hearn, because obviously he gets people talking about it, and he might just bait Inoue into thinking, fuck this, I'll fight him then, because obviously Inoue will fight anyone. But MJ Akhmadaliev, who was his mandatory challenger with the WBA.
Yep.
Hearn claims that, so he's the interim champion. Hearn claims that he's
ducked him 3 said
times
to him?
now.
Inoue said,
go on,
beat it.
Just beat it. Very good.
He said, beat it.
Looking at the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
He said what's shaping up with him was like looking at the man in the mirror. Anyway, that's the WBA. So, but the thing is, what you've got to scratch the surface for those of you who might think, oh, maybe Hearn's right, is Akhmadaliev lost. So he's what is he, 12-1 now ish. Let's have a look at his exact numero. 13-1 with 10 knockouts, right? The 1 is Marlon Tapales, who he lost on a split, a contentious split, but he lost in 2023 April. Inoue knocked out Tapales in 10 rounds because he needed to beat him to unify that division. So there's a reason, there's a method to his madness. Equally, his next fight looks like it's going to be Vegas in the spring, Inoue. His first fight sort of at the top of a Vegas bill like that. And it will be against, this is a good one for your puns, George, yep. Alan David Picasso.
I was going to say it sounds off the wall, but if it's Picasso, it'll be
No, it's Picasso. It's going to, they're going to make a real, they'll be in, on the canvas. They'll probably put them on the canvas that night. Yeah. Anyway, WBC mandatory challenger. So he's in the same position as Akhmadaliev. But apparently Hearn reckons that Inoue might get stripped of the WBA. Akhmadaliev will win that belt or be elevated, and then MJ and Inoue will have an undisputed fight via Saudi or Riyadh season later this year, which is great for everyone.
Yeah. So they're gonna the belt that Inoue has, they're gonna take off him.
Yeah.
Give it to another guy.
MJ,
and then Inoue's got to fight for that belt back, and we're going to be so excited that it's a unification fight. That it's for all the belts that he actually already had.
I mean, it's a great fight, and Hearn, to be fair, Hearn is really just adding a bit of spice to it as well with this whole carry on. And he knows what he's doing. He's like, Shamon, let's have a fight. Anyway, that's Inoue. That was Friday. Moving on to Saturday, George. Just want to give a big old shout out to Ellie Scotney, who successfully defended WBO and IBF super bantamweight titles and added the IBO to our collection. With, for me, the best performance of her career. I mean, she boxed really well against Shanika Johnson. She always boxes really well, but she was particularly impressive against Miyamoto, who had far more professional fights than her. Some people were picking against Scotney, and Scotney just boxed their ears off. One wide on all the cards. Did you see the fight, George? You seen that one yet?
Not yet, no. But I read about it, and she, So, well done, Ellie the Scotney.
Ellie the
she's added more belts. So I thought she had all the belts, so she added another belt. The IBO.
Well, so this is her problem. She's got 2 belts. She's won 2 at Super Bantam, and she's got 2 left to get. But afterwards, very interesting. This is. So that was her final fight, I believe. Apologies if this is incorrect, but I think it's her last fight on her current Matchroom contract. So she's therefore a free agent now, or maybe could always re-sign with Matchroom. Not sure exactly what the crack is. And she said, yes, I'd love to unify the division, but what about if I moved up in weight to featherweight, where the world champion is Sky Nicholson? And said, how about that fight? Which I thought was absolutely quality from Scotney, because obviously Sky Nicholson, one of the sort of key components of Matchroom's operation, world champion featherweight, WBC world champion no less. Scotney's like, fine, I'll move up, and I think that's a fascinating fight, because obviously coming up in weight, you wonder how would Scotney get on against Sky Nicholson, who's barely been hit, very, very skilled, tricky, awkward, and long. I think it's a great fight, George. What do you reckon?
That sounds like a great fight. That sounds like a Matchroom fight as well, doesn't it? So,
yeah.
It's at the moment it feels like it's Boxer who are they're the ones who are leading the charge with female boxing. They've got this big card coming up at the Royal Albert Hall. It's incredible. I never had a chance to box at the Royal Albert Hall, but I think there was only one. I think Frank Warren put one show on at the Royal Albert Hall during my entire career. That was the only bit of boxing there was. I think there was one since I've retired, and then they're bringing it back. But you got to book it 2 years in advance, so that's great. And they're going big on women's boxing, so you don't know whether Ellie Scotney, who's part of that McGuigan gym, where loads of them are part of Sky and boxing on with the boxer contracts, so whether she's like looking over the fence, going, "Oh, maybe I'd like to taste this," but no, she's stuck a flag in the ground and said, "I want Sky Nicholson." Who is Matchroom? Stick with Matchroom. So I think it's a great fight deck. If you can make it,
could become a 2-weight world champion, Ellie Scotney. So yeah, we salute you as always. Top of the bill was Dalton Smith knocking out Walid Wizza in a round to win the vacant European title.
That's some name in it.
This was Walid Wizza. I'd love to be called Walid Wizza. This guy. So this belt was Adam Azim's. Adam Azim then got ordered to box Dalton Smith for it by the EBU. Adam Azim said no thanks. Vacated the belt last year. Then Dalton Smith was supposed to box John Fernandez for it, but then he got an injury. And then Fernandez is now boxing Pierce O'Leary, I think. Sorry if you've lost this. But anyway, what he ended up was boxing Walid Wizza for the vacant belt. Finally, the final belt, because he's won English, British, Commonwealth, now European. So he's doing it the right way, Dalton Smith. He's very, very good, clearly. He's now mandatory, or just about to be called as a mandatory, for the WBC title, which is going to be contested by Alberto Puello and Sandor Martin. So you fancy Dalton Smith gets either of those. But George, one question here, and this Dave Allen, the heavyweight, the white rhino, who is always as honest as they come, always says it how he sees it. He suggested, fair enough, Dalton Smith wants to win a European title. No problem. Vacant, absolutely no problem. But you've got to have a look at that matchup and say, is this worthy of a main event on DAZN? And if it's not, put it as chief support, put it somewhere on the card, do a proper main event. Or do you have to say, look, Dalton Smith's the headliner. He wanted the belt. This is what the EBU gave us. He won in a round. He's not the first boxer to do so. He's not the first fighter to knock someone out who's overmatched either. Where do you land on it? Do you think we should expect better? Because Dave Allen basically said, I pay for DAZN and this is not good enough.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. But we pay for everything, don't we? Like whether we
fucking well do. Apart from this podcast.
This podcast is free. Yeah. You just got to put up with me and Deck. You know, talking about our soup kitchens and coffin. Yeah. So that's the only ad you got to work with. But yes. No. So Dalton Smith is good enough for main event, right? First and foremost,
yes.
Yeah? He's a main event fighter.
And he has been for the last 4 fights.
Exactly. So last time he boxed was last year when he boxed Cepeda, which was a fantastic fight. For me, like a bit of a breakout fight for him. And that was the one that sort of, all of a sudden, the collision course between him and Adam Azim, the brakes were pumped on one guy's side. They went a different route. And there was Eddie Hearn, who has an opinion on boxing these days. He was out there beating the drum for Dalton Smith. So, yeah, I get what he's saying, Dave Allen. And then, you know, when it's a fight, every fight has to be hyped up, doesn't it, Deck? And that's even our job now. Your job definitely, but my job now, I'll hype up a fight. You know, I'll talk about
publicity,
it. We want to get excited about it. It could be the best fight in the world, but if no one gets excited about it, no one's going to enjoy it. So you have to hype it up. And then, if someone gets blown away that easy, that quickly, you're like, you're left scratching your head. But that's not Dalton Smith's problem. And
no, not at all.
He's a main event fighter, he's a main event fighter. If this was, say it was pay-per-view, and not, obviously this would never be pay-per-view, but there are pay-per-view fights to get made, that aren't real fights. And then everyone's behind it. And then when you've actually paid that extra 20, 25 quid for it, and you're like, why have I done that? That should have been part of my subscription. But maybe it's just like Dalton Smith is one of our best fighters out of Britain right now. He's on the cusp of fighting for a world title. We expect him to win a world title. So at 27 years of age, maybe we are just hoping to see better fights for him. I think that's where it lies, really. I wouldn't.
Yeah, we want to see the best of him, and obviously he looked really good against Sam Maxwell. That was July of last year. Then he had Jose in 2023. That Maxwell fight, fuck me, that was ages ago. That was a good win. And then he knocked out Jose Cepeda with that body shot last April. So I think last March. I think people just want a bit more. What's interesting now as well, you've got to look at the context of these super cards that we're getting every 6 months or more recent, every 3 a year or whatever it is. And Dalton Smith against Walid Wizard just simply would not be good enough to cut the mustard on one of those cards. Saudis would say, not for us. So then if it goes main event on DAZN, you might think, okay, maybe we need more from Dalton Smith. But he has had 11 months out. He did win the vacant European title. If there's no title on the line there, I'd sort of go with Dave Allen there. But he's won the vacant title. It's his last one before he goes on now to fight probably for the world title in his next fight. If not, there was talk of Regis Prograis. Jack Catterall's boxing next month, same weight class. Adam Azim's boxing this week, which we'll talk about in a minute. I feel like that's the sort of fight that Saudis would pay for. Smith against Azim. So Dalton Smith, he's doing everything that's asked of him. It's not his fault that he goes in there and this bloke is nowhere near good enough for him. And in terms of performance, it was absolutely what you want, because when sometimes you get these fights which are clearly a mismatch from the start and someone pisses around for six rounds and doesn't really try, he wasn't doing that. He was like, I'm going out there and I'm going to make a statement here, and it's exactly what he did live on DAZN.
Can't fault him.
No.
And Wally Wizard, is that what we're calling there?
Walid Wizard.
He tried to pull a rabbit out of the hat. It didn't work. No.
If he's not called the Wizard, the game's gone. If he's not Walid the Wizard, he might as well retire. Yeah. And I don't think he is.
He could just have triple W on his shorts.
Well, the problem is Whizzer starts with an O.
Nah, that's
Walid Whizzer.
No, I'll change that. I'm not having that.
Whizkid, Whizzer. Anyway, fuck it. We'll probably never see Walid Whizzer on these shores again, but Dalton Smith's won all the belts apart from the world one. So happy days for him and the team. He's 17-0, 13 knockouts. He's 27 years old. He is Dalton Thunder Smith. He's one of our very best kind of, he's not a prospect anymore, but world titles. One of our best boxers yet to win a world title is Dalton Smith. Okay, that's that weekend's action. Last weekend's action. We've got a busy weekend of action coming up. Should we have a breather there, George, and then come back for the preview set?
I like your idea, Dick. Let's have a nice little breathers, and then we'll be back soon.
I might have a quick bowl of soup, and then we'll be back.
Yeah. Right, we're back, Dick. How was
back.
the soup? What'd you get?
I had sweet potato and gochujang soup.
You
weren't expecting that, were you?
Did it come with a little book? Yeah, it come with a little recipe book.
No, it actually didn't. That's the problem with Aldi. But I did buy this bag. It was supposed to be a box, but it came in a bag. 20 quid, and it's just loads of vegetables, like random vegetables, and then you have to sort of fashion stuff with them.
Right.
So that's been
okay.
It's been handy.
That's very you now, Dick, isn't it? Is that like from...
Yeah. It's from a shop around the corner, 20 quid, and it's like you get loads of stuff. You get like turnips and stuff. Speaking of turnips, I think turnips are one of favourite food or preferred food of goats, George.
Yep.
And goats are the preferred pet of the one and only Adam Aziz.
Yes, you're right.
That was the most tenuous link we've done, but I think it works.
No, I want to know, how's the goat? We haven't. Have you been keeping tracks on the goat? Does it have its own Instagram page?
Every time I see him, I ask him about it. He changed his name from Tootsie to Super Kid. Last time I heard, though, he's still at the farm.
Oh right.
And Adam's obviously too busy now reading Harry Potter. You saw those quotes in the boxing news. That was great. So he's too busy with wizardry, witchcraft, and Walid wizardry that he can't look after a goat at the moment. But anyway, he's got a big fight to prepare for this Saturday night at Wembley Arena, where he takes on who is it? Sergei Lipnitz, or as I like to call him, Sergei Limp Biscuit. Again, Eddie Hearn, the troll master, said I think he turns 50.
Keep rolling
when he's over here. Yeah, but he keeps rolling on, Sergei Lipnitz. He's actually only 35.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, Eddie.
Kazakh, the Samurai Sergei. And you might remember him. I mean, his last fight was a victory over Robbie Davis Jr., which was a good fight over 10. Yeah. That was in May last year. But he's been going for ages. He beat, when was that? Lamont Peterson in 2019. So that's 6 years ago now. He lost to Mikey Garcia at UD. It was quite a wide defeat, but he went the distance with Mikey Garcia. That was 6-7 years ago. Yeah,
that was Mikey Garcia going up again and winning another world title. But that was Mikey Garcia at his best, probably.
That was peak Garcia. Yeah. Drew with Custio Clayton for an interim world title. So basically what we're saying here, Limp Bizkit is one of those, he's turned into like a gatekeeper guy now. I see this as like a gatekeeper fight, where Adam Azim, who was still only, 22 years old, the assassin, 12-0, 9 KOs. Like, this seems like a perfect fight for this stage of his career.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, he's probably 18 months to 2 years ahead of where most guys will be. Most guys, talented prospects, will still be 23, 24 when they're getting on the cusp of fighting these guys, and then they get a world title shot around 25, 26. But he's 22 years of age. He's already former European champion. This seems like a good, logical, healthy fight, and I think he's still in that building phase. He's still improving, and we still need to see him in there with, he's still got a way to go, hasn't he? He's still cutting his teeth. So, in a world at the moment, Deck, where so many big fights can easily get made with Riyadh season, he's not that guy. He's not that guy like a Joseph Parker who's been to the top of the mountain and now resurging. He's not a Daniel Dubois who, again, stumbled a couple of times along the way and then has to take the opportunities and has done. I can imagine, they're still coasting them along. He still needs a couple of gatekeeper fights, a couple of gut check fights, and to bed himself in. The improvements obviously that you make in the gym, you assume he's made and he's doing, but now it's obviously at that point where he has to put it into practice on the fight night in there with guys who are tough and tricky and former world champions. It's a good fight. Lipnitz is not. What he isn't is like a faded champion who we all know. That's where I can think after this it will be who do they go through and look and find.
Well, that's what like Dalton did.
Name.
Dalton had like Jose Cepeda.
Yeah.
I know he's not a world champion, but he boxed 3 times for the world title. Like that big name, and also make a little bit of a ripple in America. Lipinet's maybe not quite that, but he's a handful. He's kind of a bully. He's 35 years old and strong and can punch, bit flat-footed, but he's gonna obviously try and put it on us.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Adam Azim, that's what you're gonna think, innit? Try and get out of that mid to long range where he's really dangerous and just rough him up and just see if he's got the minerals for a proper fight. And then it's up to Adam to prove he has. I mean, O'Hara Davis was suggested as a bit of an acid test for him. He passed that one.
Yeah, I thought that was a
age,
real stretch too far for O'Hara Davis, and obviously he got soundly beaten, retired that night. So I still feel like there's Lipnitz, but then there might be someone another one before that gatekeeper thing. Yeah,
because the champs are like serious. There's 4 of them at the moment. One of them's Teofimo Lopez, and then there's people like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. That's the division, and Dalton Smith. That's the division we're talking about. That's proper, isn't it?
Yeah, Devin Haney is a standout talent. They're all the Americans at the moment. They're all a bit wacky, aren't they? You think Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. They're all they're all a bit wacky, but they're all really good fighters. So you got to enter that realm. I think it won't. It's not that it won't come, but maybe. But at 22, he doesn't need to rush either, does he?
There's no rush. But George, I don't know if you saw. For the first time, there was a list of names. Well, not for the first time, the list of names, but a list of names released by Turki Al-Sheikh.
Yes.
And for the first time, Adam Azim was included. And this was a list of names that are apparently in talks for big Riyadh season fights. Inoue, Canelo, people like Jaya Pataya, Joshua Bakoli, like long list of very good names. Adam Azim was slotted in there for the first time. So he is clearly nearly there in terms of world title ambitions, or certainly big fight Saudi Arabia sort of money. So this is a big moment for him, because if he drops the ball against Sergei Lipnitz, then he ain't going to be...
He's got to look good. He's got to look the part. Just not just for the Riyadh season, for Turki Al-Sheikh's list, just in general. But what I really know, Deck, is there any other types of lists that we're on? Do you know what I mean? The GGBC, are we on a list? Does he listen to us?
Like what? Who? Oh,
yeah,
Turkey.
Yeah, we on the list.
Yeah, I think we're on the list. His favourite podcast is a list of 1, and it's this one.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we're on it. We're on his list. We just can't. Yeah. We just can't drop the ball. Anyway, that's not the most important fight for you on that card, is it, George?
No, it's a very important fight, and all fights are important, Dick. But for me, this weekend, I have my prospect Lucas Rohrig out in making his second appearance as a professional boxer. So, I'm in the corner again, Dick, doing my thing.
It's your first outing, or in the ring at Wembley Arena since you knocked out Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that was, Lucas told us that the first time he ever watched a professional boxing match live was me beat Jamie Foxx at Wembley Arena. So
Swindon legend.
Yeah, we're all right the way around the old track with that. Back to square one.
Yeah,
I'm going to be. Well, yeah, I suppose I do get in the ring at the start when the referees come and touch gloves. So
you're going to shadow box.
I could do. What do you think I should?
Yeah, do a little bit of shadow. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Everybody would be like, fucking hell, look at George.
That's more shadow boxing he's done than in his career.
Yeah. Are you going to do the Chris Eubank senior and just stare at him in the break between rounds?
Yeah, I'm going to wear joppers, sheriff badge,
Waistcoat and no top.
Waistcoat, no top, and
Legend.
just come in, just stare at him in between rounds. There's we should, listeners, let us know. We could make a compilation of the best corner people work we've seen, and I could use it, to be honest. I want to get ahead of the chasing pack. I want to have my own style, my own flair, and bring my own to it. But
je ne sais quoi.
What?
Yeah, je ne sais quoi.
Is that from Swindon?
It's actually French. It actually means I don't know what. It's in peu de je ne sais quoi. That's what the George Grove je ne sais quoi. Anyway, so this is fight week for you, George, officially. So what does other than having a cough, what does fight week look for you now? I know you're training the evenings. Is that just to get you in the mood, get Lucas feeling like, right, well, I'm going to do the business on Saturday night in the evening, so let's tune in.
Yeah, let's do that. So, I was in the gym last night around what we anticipate is ring walk time to be. So, that's why you do it, Dec. Do you know what I mean? You got to get your body accustomed to what's about to take place. But this week's easy because hard training's done. Especially when you're at this stage of your career where, you ain't. It's a new thing for him because we're part of the. He's going to be fighting on the Sky broadcast. He's well involved with the first TV fight. Well in with boxer crowds. The boxer taking care of us. They've done us a huge solid. So we'll be at a press conference. We'll be obviously.
Me too.
You going? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Must be a big fight then if you're going.
I might be able to interview you. I might interview you.
I'll do my best. Right, you can't. You can only ask me about this podcast and ask me about Lucas. Otherwise, it don't count.
I ain't got time, mate.
And then obviously weigh in. Wembley Arena. So it's his first arena.
Has he got to make championship weight?
I told him, come in at championship weight.
Yeah.
But he's it's no problem for him at the moment. He's growing into the divisions. He's flying, mate. Flying, going breaking my arms and pads. So got in the gym last night. Let him put the 10s on. He's little focus mitts on, my little ones. But they've already broke up. They got going to bin. I need new ones. Need more padding. He's busting me up. But
how's your old dodgy shoulder feeling with a big cruiserweight smashing you on the pads?
Yeah, this shoulder's hurting, but it's not the same. As in, I don't know what else I've done. Injury. I think I've strained it. But I think I told you, I think I was putting the Christmas decorations back over in the festive period, trying to get them crammed into the corner of the loft.
You've done the shoulder?
But I'm alright, showing a weakness. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking hell, you're getting old, man. That is a sign of weakness, a sign of getting old. Get injured putting the Christmas decorations away.
Any sentence that has Christmas decorations in is old, isn't it? You're an old bastard.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. No. Okay, so first arena fight, first TV fight. Obviously, he's 1-0 with one knockout. How exciting. And he's now the most significant cruiserweight fight. Well, actually, there's the other boys, isn't there? The undefeated boys. But the big cruiserweight English title fight is gone. Yeah. Vidal Riley against Isaac Chamberlain. Sadly, has fallen by the wayside because Chamberlain was injured.
Yeah, he was,
which is annoying. Did that mean, did they boost Lucas up a bit because they lost that? I
don't know.
In terms of
I think when they could have. We was trying to get some sparring with Chamberlain. And he fell through. So, I had... To myself, I thought maybe there's something going on here, maybe a bit of alarm bells. But he was working with a new team, so maybe that was a bit of a problem or something. I don't know. So maybe it wasn't. They didn't cancel sparring for injuries or whatnot, but could have been. So I haven't spoke to him since, and I hope he is okay and doing well and recovering. But they've announced Vidal Riley obviously didn't want to still fight. They couldn't get him an opponent that worked for him. But they boxer have drew two of their stars from last month's show, super middleweight Callum Simpson. He's out. He's back on the card.
He boxed 3 weeks ago.
He's back out.
That's mental.
So they're keeping him busy, which is great for him. I looked at the opponent. I don't think it's like last time out. Great performance against Woodall. This guy don't seem to be on that sort of level.
No, I looked at this guy because I'd written about a Horga, his name is, and he's Ghanaian. I'm pretty sure he was supposed to box on a boxer card back end of last year. I don't know if it was against Vidal Riley or someone, but I'm sure this guy. So I reckon they must have had a contractual obligation with him, and they were like, "Cool, we'll get Callum Simpson to fulfil it for us." But he's back in the ring after 3 weeks, which is mad. Commonwealth title defence because the other guy's Ghanaian. And he's still hoping to box at Oakwell in the summer. So, like, because it's so soon after the Woodall fight, if everything's okay and he doesn't get injured and he doesn't lose, then he can still box at Oakwell. Last week of May, first week of June is the target.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will.
So high stakes for him. But yeah, how are you feeling? How do the nerves compare now? We're talking early in the week of a fight week. How do they compare now as a trainer compared to when you were preparing to have a fight?
So I think, so for his debut in December, I didn't have any nerves throughout the week, so I was a little bit blind to it. But very nervous on the day, right? For plethora of reasons, right? But this time round, I'm probably more conscious throughout fight week. Keeping an eye on him because he's doing his thing that you have to do as a prospect. I think we've got this shot on a big platform, Sky Sports, Boxer, Arena. But mate, you sell your tickets, so he knows he's still out there. He's punting tickets. And this week I'm let's calm down. What you've sold, you sold. That's that. But he keeps texting me going, I need more. Promoters are gonna love it. Promoters are gonna love him. So he's gonna have a great crowd in there on the night. And it's different, obviously. Harrow Leisure Centre is a little bit different from Wembley Arena. So for all his newbie fans and his friends and family who maybe hadn't been to a lot of boxing, this is going to be a difference, which I think is great for any prospect to experience. When you want to try and tell people to come on the journey, you show them everything there is to be seen. You don't just want to box on the Riyadh cards at Tottenham Hotspur week in, week out. I mean, they don't come around that often, but when they do, it's good to get a variety. So yeah, this week, we're going to be on the Sky Sports podcast. That's going to be out on Tuesday. We're going to be
traitors.
Yeah, well, got. I'll get him back on here, Deg. Don't worry. Get him back on here, and then we've got another press conference for him. Weigh in, and TV cameras will be there. That'll be pretty big, pretty good. And then obviously the fight itself. And I think because of the work he's doing, because of the performance that he put in his debut and whatnot, they've given us we're going to be the first one out the blocks on TV. So, I mean, unless that changes, I might be giving it to Billy Big and I might be totally wrong. But it turns out, we're not on the stream, we're on the TV, we're on the box. And then I've got to quickly get changed. I might not even get changed. I might just run from there to go and join Johnny and Anna and whoever else is in the pit.
Very nice. What a night for you. And as we said, no Vidal Riley, Isaac Chamberlain, but Vidal Riley has popped up instead again, and obviously Vidal Riley and ECM. So an ECM derby has been made with Chev Clark at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on April 26th. Where Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn's fight has now been confirmed. 26th of April at Tottenham, including, Chevon Clark against Vidal Riley, Anthony Yard against Lyndon Arthur 3, which, they're 1-1 now, so it's essentially a rubber match. There's also Chris Billum-Smith, George. Is boxing Brandon Glanton. So Chris's comeback fight after the November defeat to Gilberto Ramirez is on a Riyadh season card at Tottenham outdoors against, I think he's once beaten American Brandon Glanton. Big fight for him and a big opportunity again to just get back in amongst it. After he lost, we were like, what does he do now? What are the options? This is a great option.
It's a great option. You hope that he's going to get paid well. It's part of Riyadh season. It's going to be on a massive platform. It's at a football stadium. It's going to be on every telly, every channel. And I suppose I don't want this to sound too cruel, right? But if you look at the undercard, you look at the main event and the undercard for Bivol Beterbiev 2 in February, and you look at the fights that are on there, then you skip forward to Tottenham, and you're like, these are great fights. Like they're good fights, but
we're spoiled now.
But we're so spoiled that like Chev Clark versus Vidal Riley is a really good fight. Do you know what I mean? But you're like, I'm not going to lose my mind over it. You know, Anthony Yard versus Lyndon Arthur 3. I'm not going to lose my mind over it. But that's because we've been spoiled with these top cards. So I think because of that, and CBS, you know, in a good fight, probably even goes higher up the card than those guys, former world champion. It's a great position for him, great opportunity for him to be back on the big stage. And if he puts in a good win, then he they might jump the queue for him to fight Badu Jack for the WBC or something else.
It'd be something else on a Riyadh season event. You would think if he goes and does a business and knocks out Brandon Glanton. Actually, Brandon Glanton, is 20-2. His 2 defeats came against David Light. Remember the guy who Okoli beat? And then also Sozlan Asbarov, who he lost majority back in 2023. But he's back on the horse with 3 wins. Also on that card, George, is Liam Smith against Aaron McKenna. Aaron McKenna is the other brother who Stevie was the one who Lee Cutler beat. He's the other brother. So that's a good fight. And again, Aaron McKenna, he's 19-0, but we don't know how good he is. He's only 25, so Liam Smith's a big acid test for him. And finally, George, this weekend, forgot to mention it, is David Benavidez against David Morrell, the David Derby, in a big pay-per-view on Prime in Las Vegas.
You going?
And if you haven't... I'm not going. Rob's out there, big Rob Tebbett's out there for Boxing News. And speaking of Boxing News, the cover this week with David Benavidez on it is fucking banging. Our designer, Nick Bond, came up with this idea because the Mexican Monster sounds like a B-movie and it's like this old movie style. So if you haven't seen it, go and check that out. It's on all the socials, the Boxing News cover. But that's a great fight, George. I think Benavidez should come through. But David Morrell has had like 12 fights and he's really live underdog in this fight. I think it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, it's one that I haven't thought too much about, to be honest. It's been a bit busy, but I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, looking forward to that. Oh, I'll definitely be watching the rerun rather than watching it live. But
you'll be staying.
I won't
up.
want to miss that.
No, and the winner probably will go on to fight the winner of Better Biev Bivol on February 22nd. So high stakes there as always in Sin City.
Yes.
And that concludes, I think, George. That's a shitload of boxing we've just talked about.
It's not bad as a day.
Japan, America, Nottingham, and Wembley Arena. I'm very excited about Saturday night. Can't wait.
Yeah, it should be good.
Probably not as excited as you.
I'm really excited. I might be a little bit nervous someday, but no, we're good to go. We're flying. We can't be in any better of places.
And tell us about, just before we go, tell us about the opponent. Who we got? He's on the thingy. Miloslav Savic.
Yeah, Savage.
What do we know about him?
Yeah, no,
absolute Robbie Savage.
No, it's if you watch him,
30-year-old Serbian.
30-year-old Serbian. Yeah, like, so obviously we're at this stage now, Dec, where like, you know, I'm trying to match him. You look at the records, and sometimes you might, you know, I'm not here to get criticised by Eddie Hearn pulling a Dalton Smith out the bag. And then we don't want 1 round demolitions if we can, but if they come, they come. You want someone who's going to come, cope for a few rounds, ask some questions. He's one of them ones where, so he fights Alois Jr. and he gets blown away in a round. So
the Michelin man.
The Michelin man. So
didn't even get tired.
Spinning rims. Yeah, he was like, he cleaned him out. So
the other bloke was exhausted.
Oh no, Dec. Stop.
Anyway, he's back. He's back. Lily Savage is back after that. Okay.
Yeah, no, but he's okay. He's off the back of a couple of losses. But if you watch him, he punches nice and loose. Got good variety. There's lots of footage of him fighting in amateur battles. So I don't know if he must have been boxing for Serbia at some point. So I don't know if he was in some sort of championships. They don't look that old as well. So I don't know if it was like recent where like they have the pro-ams now where the pros and boxers amateurs, so whether he just nipped back for a couple of acid tests. But Lucas is looking good. Got a bit of height and reach advantage on him. I think when he lands on him, it'll hurt him, put him away. But yeah, also can't make no mistakes because he ain't no mug, as it were. He's a savage.
He ain't no mug. And his last fight was against Arman Jojai, who the one CBS beat. So he's like
Jojai,
that sort of level.
Yeah. So there's no one on his record who are 1-0. Do you know what I mean? They're all 10, 12-0 and above. And he wins some, he loses some. He's had a couple of wins against proper unbeaten fighters. So yeah, I don't think you want to sleep on him. And it's up to.
I mean, I wouldn't want to sleep on him. Literally,
and there's literally
don't look very comfortable. And I just noticed on that undercard, George, is Hassan Azim is back.
What, this weekend?
Also club member. Yeah, his last fight was against Ruben Angulo, which was in June 2023, a 1-round job. So this is going to be only his second fight for 2 years. Obviously, he had a big shoulder problem. And he's fighting over 4 rounds against my old mate, Jensen Irving from Swindon, who used to live 2 streets down from me. I once babysat him. There's my claim to fame. Jensen Irving, the Swindon legend, against Hassan Azim. I guess that'll be off telly, but I'll be there for that. Go on,
you babysat him, yeah? What was he like?
He's a lovely kid. The family was so nice.
What was his mum like? Was she hot?
Well, she wasn't there because I was babysitting.
Well, surely she didn't say all the keys under the mat. You must have seen her as she left and she went out for dinner.
Yeah, I can't remember where she was going, but I remember that very well. I can picture the house. I know. I'm not going to tell you where he lives because you don't want Hassan turning up and setting off a fire alarm or whatever to put him off. But yeah, Hassan Azim against the one and only Swindon legend Jensen Irving. What a card! I didn't even know that was on. I just checked the box right there, just checking we hadn't missed anything. So yeah, lovely. Lucas Rowerig as well, of course, the star turn of the show. And you'll be doing your shadow boxing.
Yeah, I'll as much shadow boxing as you want, Deg.
What about moonwalking? Can you moonwalk?
Oh no, I'll leave that to MJ.
Ahmed Aliyev,
yeah. Gonna moonwalk his way into a top 5 pound for pound rating, I think.
Yeah, I reckon he's got to replace Inoue.
Okay, well,
yeah, he's got to go.
This pod, isn't it? That's the name of this episode. And
Inue's a waster.
Inoue shit, yeah.
Stop wasting our time. But if you want to come on, Inoue, with a translator, we're here.
Yeah, anytime. Can you not speak Japanese, Deg?
No. I can say konnichiwa, I can say arigato.
Arigato. What's that? Is that the bill, please?
Thank you. No, thank you. But if that's enough to get him on, then let's get him on. But until then, George, I hope everything the rest of the week goes well. I'll see you at the press conference on Thursday. Yep. And I'll see you moonwalking all the way to 2-0 with Lucas Rowerig.
Lovely stuff, Deg. Take care, mate. Catch you soon.
See you later.